Hello guys, it is me again, it's HorrorFan34, and welcome back to another video, and welcome back to the series of reviews for the Jason films. Now we're getting on to my favorite one of the franchise, and that review is going to be on Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter, which was released 2 years later in '84, directed by Joseph Zito. Same guy that directed The Prowler, I believe. I think that's the same guy that directed this, The Prowler. But Joseph Zito directed this. And basically, you know, in this one, it picks up right where Part 3 left off at, where Jason's found supposedly dead in the barn, and he gets taken in. And then basically from there, he kills the doctors, and you have that really funny character of Axel. You know, Jesus jumping, eat Christmas shit. Like, the way, however he says that. So. And then, of course, in this one, this is the introduction to Tommy Jarvis. The Tommy Jarvis character, who would be in from Part 4 to Part 6, which will be talking about Tommy Jarvis. This is like the Tommy Jarvis era of the Jason films. And basically, it's about Tommy Jarvis, who played by Corey Feldman, and you have Trish, played by Kimberly Beck, and next door to them, you have a bunch of kids moving into the Camp Crystal Lake next door. You have the character of Eric Anderson, who plays Rob. Rob, you're in this movie? Sci-fi horror guy, Rob? I didn't know that was you. And actually, his character is actually the brother of the character in one of the girls in Part 2. Remember the one in Part 2 when the two were in bed and then Jason stabbed both of them while they were in the bed? That was the sister of Rob in Part 4. And he's basically a guy who's trying to hunt for Jason, trying to go after him. And you feel sorry for when, you know, Rob dies, where it's like all dark and you can't see anything, and then like the way the character of Rob, you know, how he's like, the way Eric Anderson delivers the performance, he's like, oh, he's got me, he's killing me, and you know, you can feel sorry for him because you know, he's searching for Jason. And of course, getting on to my favorite part of this movie, which is a big running joke between me and my good buddy Alex 2.0, Jimbo and Teddy, where basically I'm Teddy and he's Jimbo, and we always mess with each other back and forth. I call Alex a dead fuck. You know, the computer don't lie. Well, there's no Betty. He's like, you know, it's like, the computer don't lie. There's no Betty. He's like, there's no Betty, is there? And then I'm a dead fuck. You know, and you know, Lawrence Mondesi, I think that's the guy that played Teddy, and you have Crispin Glover as Jimmy. Of course, Crispin Glover be well known for Back to the Future, Willard, Charlie's Angels, Like Mike. Of course, he was in Like Mike as Biddleman, the evil guy of the orphanage that Lil Bow Wow was in. And Crispin Glover, I mean, been in a lot of stuff, Crispin Glover. He went on to do a lot of stuff after this. The character of Jimbo and Teddy, and I will try to remember to do this for this video, where I'm going to put in the description box down below, I'm going to put to Alex's channel, Alex 2.0, back in like 2016, we actually did a reenactment, or it was actually Alex's idea of doing the reenactment of the Corkscrew scene, where Alex is Jimmy and I'm Ted, and it like cuts back to me like I'm watching the film, and I'm watching something and I'm laughing, and then it cuts back to Alex looking for the corkscrew, and he gets the corkscrew through the hand. And that's like one of the most iconic deaths in the movie is Jimbo, when he gets the you know, Ted, where the hell's the corkscrew? He gets the corkscrew right through the hand, and he gets hit in the face with a meat cleaver, things like that. And, you know, and just the back and forth between Jimmy and Ted is a lot of fun. And me and Alex always go back and forth with each other on that one. You know, it's just, we always like go back and forth, you know, because I'm Ted and and he's Jimmy. So we always have a little bit of a back and forth with that one. So that's always a lot of fun to do. But I'll try to remember in this video to put that in the link in the description down below to that video that Alex did. He did a really great job on it. And for people who are watching out there, you know, Lauren, Jason, and Bronco, and Sean Urshan, and Sean Blu-ray Digital, Terry, you know, anybody out there, if you want to get, when I put that in the link down below, I would really appreciate you guys giving some feedback on what you think of it. So, because I think it turned out really, really good. But getting back to the actual review of the movie itself, but yeah, but I just had to harp on those two characters, and of course, you know, the whole famous dance scene that Jimmy has, a really great dance scene. And I really like the other characters. Like you have Peter Barton, who played Doug. And of course you have Kimberly Beck as Trish. Corey Feldman, of course, as Tommy Jarvis, the little kid. And Jason, you know, actually played by Ted White in this. Now, I know there was a little bit behind the scenes with this movie with Ted White and Joseph Zito. Basically, what happened was Ted White wasn't happy with one of the characters of Judy Aronson, who played was it Samantha? I think that was her name. I'm not remembering at the moment. I got pretty. I don't know, but the character that Judy Aronson plays, basically, she was the one that was in the water, and apparently I didn't realize that it was actually really cold weather during the filming, and apparently she was screaming and she was freaking out because it was cold and she was, you know, in the water and things like that, and Joseph Zito didn't do anything about it, and so Ted White didn't like that, so he threatened to quit if, you know, Joseph Zito didn't give her some help, and Joseph Zito did, because he didn't want to risk losing Ted White. But I think eventually she ended up catching like hypothermia or something like that during the making of. So, and that's a really great death scene in that, where Judy Aronson's, you know, come on Sarah, strip and dip. And of course the whole ending too, where Jason and Tommy Jarvis go at one another. Tommy Jarvis shaves his head and, you know, die, Tom, and then he die. You know, Corey Feldman and of course the whole ending where Jason falls through the machete and it goes through his head. And I really like the way that Jason's design is in this. I think the design of Jason's really, really good. And Tom Savini actually came back to do the gore effects for this. And I think he did a really great job with the gore effects. But overall, I mean, this is just a fantastic installment into the series. Harry Manfredini once again comes back to do the score. But Friday the 13th, the final chapter, fantastic installment. It's my favorite of the franchise. I like Corey Feldman, Crispin Glover. I like the other characters like Rob and Doug, Jim, of course, Jimmy and Ted, of course, can't forget about them. Tommy Jarvis, of course, I really like Corey Feldman. I like Kimberly Beck, who played Trish. Ted White, who was Jason, I think did a great job. And I think it's directed very well by Joseph Zito. So, anyways, that's pretty much all I got to say about Part 4. So thank you guys very much for watching my review of Part 4, the final chapter. And then stay tuned for the next review, which I'm going to pull out here. Stay tuned for the next review, which will be on this one, Friday the 13th, Part 5. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. You guys take care.